you see the state government before now had taken parks, motor parks and all that to distal areas away from the city center. But in recent times, maybe as we are talking about enforcement, those places are back. So when you have a park at a place like the Plaza Car Road, you're sure to have these hoodlums, these minors that are engaging in petty crimes around that area. And whenever there is a problem, you're sure to have that fallout, you're sure to have those things happen.
Because at this point, following what you're trying to, say, we might just begin to ask, what then is the, police force doing in the state in terms of controlling some of these incidences? Just recently, the government said they had given, the police force 20 Hilux vehicles. They have also given them very sophisticated communication gadgets, and it brings to 65 the amount of vehicles that has been given to the Nigerian police force in Akwa Ibom State in the administration of spanning the administration of Udom Emmanuel now. So what exactly is the police doing if we begin to have street children that are becoming nuisance to society?
We must commend the police. Security is a very critical. It's a very critical aspect of our lives. Security starts from us. Your personal security starts from you. So the police is just secondary. They try to policing is actually a secondary thing. So when we say we know that the police in Akwa Ibom State are doing a very beautiful job, I commend the commissioner. In fact, the speed at which they responded to that incident shows that they are proactive enough. But away from that, we should also look at is the police actually organic enough to respond to these things? What makes the police? They are humans just like us. You give them the gadgets, fine, but it still boils down to the issues we have in Nigeria, the restructuring we are calling for. Is the Nigerian police equipped mentally? It's not just about the gadgets. Are they equipped to be able to tackle the Nigerian problem in a local parlance? Because to the best of my knowledge, there are still things in the street the police might not be aware of. They are humans. I mean, there are communities that the police must go into agreement with the village heads to make arrests. Yes, we still have such issues. So to me, I think the policing thing should be more organic. We should have that local policing. Some people might call it vigilantes. But these ones are more close to the ground.
But like state governments have been pushing for state policing.
Yes. Because if we have to look at it, you bring a man from Borno State, and because he's a policeman, you take him to the creek in Oron, and you expect him to work and understand all the security networking in Oron. I mean, it will never work. He will understand up to a level. As far as there are barriers of language, there are barriers of custom and traditions, he will understand it up to a level. So the police is doing fine. But the problem of response by the police is not just in Akwa Ibom State. They are doing their best. We have to give it to them. But it's a national thing. We must restructure these things so that they can work more effectively.
Okay, before we even start looking at the sanitation situation in the state, because I think we had a report that played earlier on that, tried to focus on some of these issues. Now, we are talking about insecurity in the states. That was just a little that we saw at Plaza, but then it claimed 5 lives. We are going into the election proper. With what we have in Akwa Ibom State now, do we think that it is peaceful enough to have an election free, fair, and credible, devoid of any violence occurrences?
Yes, I must be honest. We have never had it this good. When we are talking insecurity in Akwa Ibom State, we are on an all-time low. This is like the best.
Okay.
I've been here. There was a time when kidnappings was it was a Mayday. For every other day, you hear of issues of kidnapping, issues of assassinations and all that. So if we are actually comparing the era we are in with past eras, I think we are in an all-time low when it comes to insecurity. We are good. So if we were able to have elections then, We should be able to have elections now because I mean, I can sleep with my eyes closed these days. There was a time, let me tell you, Janice, there was a time in Akwa Ibom State, every evening, at where I was living, before it's 10, 11, we have to sit outside, form little pockets of security on our own, because we know they will come. So before it gets to 11, 12, you're already dozing, sitting outside, because you know that some guys will come. So I thank God it has abated. Though somehow I know that insecurity on its own is also linked to the welfare of the people, the effect of governance, poverty level, employment level. These things are linked to insecurity. When there's a rise in insecurity, it should be an index, it should be an index to show you that there is actually
something
a problem.
Wrong somewhere. Yes.
People are not feeding fine. It's really in a rare occasion, maybe that one is genetic, for someone to feed fine and still go out to steal. So it should also be an indicator that there is a rising spate of unemployment. People are coming out from universities and not getting employed, and as we have always said, an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Okay.
It might also be a reaction of the populace to the governance, the present governance. It might also be the rise in the poverty level, the cost of living. So let the government look at how they could, ameliorate the living conditions of the populace, and insecurity will also always go down.
Take the back.
So back to your question, we can always have an election because it's not as bad as it used to be.
So for you, Governor Dom Emmanuel has done great in terms of insecurity, or in terms of security in the state.
He has.
Okay. Right. Great commendations there for the Udom Emmanuel-led administration. So let's veer into sanitation. Year after year, Akwa Ibom is being awarded as the cleanest state in Nigeria. But for those of us living in Akwa Ibom, we are beginning to think that trajectory is changing. We do not really have clean streets and clean air anymore around Akwa Ibom. Most of our streets are filled with filth, and there are several cries. We have a lot of reports on Spectrum Television showing Akwa Ibomites asking the government to step in and do something about it. Talking about the Uyo Village Road sounds like a broken record. The state government is well aware of what is happening there. Some months ago, we did a report there. The state governor had given a directive and said that in 48 hours, that place should be cleared. It was not carried out. We have tried to follow up, and even have conversations with the man at the helms of affairs for waste. We're talking of Princecum, but usually that's not even forthcoming. So what is the problem with dirt? You look at this, is Itam Axis, full of waste everywhere in Akwa Ibom. Every street you turn has a place that has been taken over by waste. What is the problem on ground?
Let me react by first of all saying that we must change the way we respond or react to stuffs. We must not be subjective all the time. That whenever people say this thing is getting bad, we start asking who is doing it better. I'm seeing it becoming a problem. That narrative, when you say Uyo is beginning to be dirty, they will ask you which other city is even cleaner. Can you compare Uyo to Aba? We can always have excellence. If we are good, we must keep the standard. We don't have to lower it because another person is not doing it fine. That's the first thing I want to, because I see my people these days, when you want to tell them that Uyo was not like this, it used to be cleaner than this. They say, that was then now, but even now, which other city is clean? Can you compare Uyo to Nisha? Can you come? We are coming tops. For some years, we are coming tops. Our good might be good, but it's not good enough. Talking about Uyo Village Road, it's an eyesore. I mean, it is. I don't even know why we should cite a dump so close to the hilltop mansion in Uyo. I mean, from that dump to the states, to where the state governor is, I'm not sure it's up to 700 meters or 8. It's so close. And it begins to reflect on us as a people. If we claim to be very clean, tidy, and decent people, and we have such dumps close to where the governor is living, and the governor alters an ultimatum that it should be cleaned up, and we still have it up till now, what does it tell us as a people? I do not want to disparage the efforts of the Prince Ikam-led environmental sanitation outfit, but I want to implore him to do better. We never used to have refuse dumps along the Itam market. We used to have refuse bins where people dump their refuse. I used to be very proud some time ago when I tell people that sanitation, being clean, is about the people, the psyche of the people, because way back there was this balance we used to have then when Governor Donald Duke was in Cross River State. He said you won't have the mind to drop something on the streets of Calabar. So that does not mean that you could not drop something. It means that when you see how clean it is, you as a person, your conscience will not allow you drop.
Yeah.
And you used to be in that same rating with Calabar and Cross River State. All of a sudden now you see people come out with their refuse bins, they just fling it. Nobody wants to aim the bin. They just fling their refuse.
As long as it lies around.
As long as it lies around. So it's not even about Prince Ikeme alone. It's also about the psyche of the people. How do you dispose your refuse? And government
I think just to cut you in now, I think that brings us to the question of what's even the essence of the every month sanitation that is being, pushed in the state. What do people do with the sanitation day, just to keep the state clean then?
Yes, because I asked the same question too, because sanitation used to be a more rigorous thing. It's laxed and relaxed now.
Because I quite agree with you that as far as we are blaming government for not taking particular approach, towards keeping the city clean, we as individuals, as residents in this particular locality, we have our own fair share of the blame.
Sure.
So what do we do during sanitation period? Why can't we come out, clear our gutters? Because if you move around the streets of Rio today, you find out that some gutters, drainages have been clogged, by dirt.
Sure. That's just what I'm saying too. We as a people should try to we should improve our living conditions. We should fall back to the old ways that gave us positive results. On sanitation days, people now play football.
See?
Youths come out with their ball and they play football. And the enforcement too, because I remember way back then, on a Saturday that is for sanitation, you dare not leave your compound and go outside. This we are having a lot of sanitation with free movements, and people begin to feel it's not as important as it used to be. So people wake up on Saturdays and say, okay, today is sanitation, we have free movements, and I will cut the grass another Saturday. And they go out on their businesses. So gradually we are falling off that high echelons of we were clean people, our streets were decent, no, it's no more the way it used to be. And please, for the enforcement also, please, we need to step up our game. The refuse bins are actually where people dispose things. So
are these refuse bins even enough? Are they at strategic points where people can actually just come out of their houses and dump in? Because we have to look at some of those things as well.
Yes, we have to. As much as we're investing, the government is investing in security, buying vans for the police. We should also look at sanitation. I've not seen new refuse bins in the past how many years?
Yeah, that's
we used to have new bins. When you see the colors, these ones are just new. There used to be those evacuating trucks that will just come and lock the bin at once and pick them. Now you see people trying to pack bins with spades and shovels, and it becomes a redundant process. It's no more as, it doesn't show the signs of a growing city, a city that is in terms with current trends.
Yeah.
So we should fall back to old ways that were better than now. How could we now fall to a level? I know we are trying to employ people. I know people work there. But yet, let us be more tidy in what we are doing. And there is this thing about, what do we call it? Sanitary landfills. I don't even know where the name sanitary came from, because those places are the most disgusting places we have in Uyo.
Okay.
Like the Uyo village road.
Yeah.
Why can we not just, if we are going to dispose there, why can we not do it in a better way? I mean, the smell, the odor that comes out of there. Thank God that we don't have a lot of people living there. Yeah. And we know that that place was a natural drainage system for you. Then what happens to our natural waterways? There used to be a system of streams that emanated from that area. The one that fits this area, we have the station here. The one that fits Oku, those streams came out from that area. Now, what happens to those natural bodyways when we have a lot of this waste disposed there? The water becomes polluted, and tomorrow we'll say we don't have the fishes we used to have, we don't have the vegetation we used to have. We are actually our problems. So please, our people should wake up and change their ways.
So something I want to ask is, do you think that the waste management agency is overwhelmed by the maybe influx of people in the state? Do you think we now have too many people and too many families, businesses churning out waste, and then the agency is overwhelmed and can't keep up with, you know, keeping Akwa Ibom clean? What's your thought about that?
Sure, the agency must be overwhelmed.
Okay.
But it's just a political thing. Will they accept that they are overwhelmed? Because I mean, as Uyo is one of the fastest growing cities in Nigeria.
Yes.
We living here know the influx of people daily that are coming in to live in Uyo. And we do not, they say when you cannot be doing the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. We have been doing it the way we used to. Okay, if we have 3 trucks along Akwa Road, they will evacuate. If we have 2 in Ikote Road, they will evacuate. Now the population is very much higher.
Okay.
It's growing on a geometric rate. You have to double up. So if you feel you're overwhelmed, I know that you people, these people that are heading these parastatals, you have the ear of the governor. Please tell him that you're overwhelmed. Tell him you need more equipment. Tell him that you need more manpower. You cannot be doing it the way you used to, and you expect to have that result. I mean, sometimes you make the populace, you create suspicion in the mind of the populace, because when these people come with the monitoring and they say Akwa Ibom is the best, people will start to ask, by what indices?
Yeah. Exactly.
So you start making the populace think that maybe you are manipulating the process, because we are living here and we see that it's no more the way it used to be. So if you feel overwhelmed, ask the government, ask for relief. Tell them you're overwhelmed. If we have to split points, let's split points. Let's say let's bring in, okay, you are a private sanitation or environmental management agency. Manage this part of town.
Yeah.
This is the same thing we did with power. At the point, NEPA was not accepting that they're overwhelmed. We had to say, okay, come, PHCN Port Harcourt, manage this side of the country. PHC, Co-City PHC, manage this side. So let's start to split things. Let's divide labor so that we will have that result.
Efficiency and efficacy as well.
Oh, thank you very much. I would not have even asked for a better closing word. Yeah. Decentralizing the efforts that we put in getting results across our parastatals, our agencies and departments, even state governments. Thank you so much, Anny Justin, for coming on the show and sharing your thoughts this morning. We hope that we can get back to having the Akwa Ibom that we used to know.
Thank you. We hope so.
At this point, we'll take a very quick break, and when we return, we'll be bringing you the concluding part of Rise and Shine. Please stay with us.